Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 7th annual meeting of your Soil Health Institute. My name is Wayne Honeycutt, and I have the pleasure of serving as the president and CEO for the Institute. Here at the Institute, we envision a world where farmers and ranchers grow quality food, fiber, and fuel using soil health systems that sustain farms and rural landscapes, that promote a stable climate and clean environment, and promote human health and well-being. And like so many of you, we work to achieve that vision every single day. Although we recognize there are many significant challenges like climate change, water quality, population growth, habitat loss, and many others, we also know without a doubt that we can address many of these challenges by improving the health of our world's soils. And the reason, of course, that why we have such confidence is because the science tells us it's true. Study after study tells us that management systems that improve soil health can also reduce greenhouse gas emissions. They can increase carbon sequestration, reduce nutrient loss to not only surface water, but also groundwater. It can provide pollinator habitat and other wildlife habitat, can increase biodiversity, and of course, provide many other benefits. And of course, our great opportunity to scale up these environmental benefits is the fact that improving soil health is also good for farmers and ranchers, because they're the ones who are managing these lands. And so, of course, they're the ones who can bring these environmental benefits to scale for the rest of us. So it's great news that we're now learning that some of these same soil health practices and systems are allowing farmers to increase their profitability, to reduce their inputs, to build drought resilience, to use less fuel, to even access their land sooner after a soaking rain, and of course, other benefits. Now today, you'll hear from a panel of farmers who've made that decision and that transition to use soil health management systems. You'll likely hear about their challenges, but also, really perhaps most importantly, how they overcame those challenges. And some of these guys are from different systems, different climates, different states. And so they all had different challenges. And then later today, we'll hear about some initiatives and programs all the way from the field level to regional, national, and global levels that are working to mitigate climate change through soil health. Tomorrow, we'll announce a minimum suite of soil health measurements that the Soil Health Institute has been recommending for using across North America. And we hope also to be able to be tested beyond North America. We think many of them have application beyond North America. This minimum suite is intended to support scaling up soil health assessments in very practical and affordable ways. And then we'll hear how successful soil health educators are creating impactful learning opportunities for farmers in their soil health education programs. Of course, increasing adoption of regenerative soil health systems is not just about the education programs or even the science or government assistance. All these, of course, are key components. But just imagine how much more we can scale up these environmental and on-farm benefits if consumers demand that their food, their fiber, their fuel, like the biofuel, they're filling up their tank partly with ethanol. If they demand that those food, fuel, and fiber be grown using the soil health management systems. We're living, I think, in an exciting time where this is really becoming real. In many respects, this has already been real for organic producers, those organic systems where consumers are demand certain ways that their food is grown. But now this is really expanding, and many organizations are responding to this consumer interest. And plus, they're recognizing that they can address their natural resource goals and other goals through soil health. And so I'm very excited to also have many of these organizations join us today to share their thoughts and their insights, because their engagement holds so much promise for expanding these on-farm and the environmental benefits. And of course, this is not just for this generation, but really actually in particular for generations to come. And so it's only fitting, I think, that our keynote speaker today is Miss Jane Ewing. And so I would like to go ahead and introduce her. Jane is the Senior Vice President for Sustainability with Walmart. In that position, she leads Walmart's sustainability team and efforts that prioritize people and the planet by aiming to source responsibly, sell sustainable products, restore natural resources, and reduce waste and emissions. Prior to her current role, Jane led the people group for Walmart International, where her team was responsible for ensuring Walmart International attracts, develops, and retains top talent around the world, supporting some 700,000 associates in 26 countries. I'm sure that position kept you quite busy, Jane. So with that, I'm going to go away, but I'll be close and turn it over to you, Jane.
Great. Thank you so much, Wayne, for the kind introduction, and big thank you to the Soil Health Institute for the invitation to speak today. I feel very honored and privileged to be here, and thank you to everyone that's joined us today. So very excited to share with you some of the things that are happening across Walmart. Many of you will know Walmart is a fairly large retailer in the US. Our company was founded on our founder, Sam Walton's vision of helping people to save money and to live better. And we understand for a business to last that we must have a fundamental reason for being, which is found in the value that it creates for all stakeholders. And we take a shared value whole system approach to environmental, social, and governance issues. And this shared value approach helps to solve both business and societal needs. And by driving system-wide change, by leading through business interventions, and then by complementing that with philanthropy and through collaboration with others. We know that we can't do this alone, and we know that it needs everybody on the journey. So, as I said, we've been a company that's been around for 60 years. We've always been focused on serving communities. But the commitment to sustainability was really formalized back in 2005. And I'm sure many of you will remember the devastation caused by Hurricane Katrina when it hit America's Gulf coasts. And our stores, our associates, they were embedded in some of the hardest hit areas. They were there to help, but they were also deeply affected. And we saw firsthand how climate change could impact communities. And it really was a turning point for our company. The devastation we saw inspired us to think about how could we use our scale for good? How can we help more in these communities? How can we be as good as we were in supporting that response every day and be our best all of the time? And that galvanized our leadership team at the time to set some very ambitious goals. To be powered by renewable energy, to be a zero waste company, and to sell sustainable products. And those goals really set us on a path to advance sustainability. And it was guided by our desire to show that there should be no difference between a responsible company and a successful company. So since 2005, we've made a lot of good progress. We've been aiming and working hard to drive positive impact across global supply chains. We've focused on climate, nature, waste, and people in supply chains, and it's really helped to strengthen our business and also the communities that we operate in many different ways. But we know it's not enough, and that's why 2020 was a really pivotal moment for us. You can see at the end of this slide, we made a commitment to becoming a regenerative company. We know that, I think we all know that worldwide social and environmental losses are cascading. We know resource-heavy farming and overfishing and the encroachment of civilization on animal habitats and the destruction of biologically diverse rainforests, it's tipping the balance of the world's vulnerable ecosystems, and we know they're becoming more unstable every day. So we knew that we had to play our part and determined that collectively we've got to go beyond sustainability as it's understood and practiced today. And that's why you see this quote by our CEO, Doug McMillon. He raised our ambition to set us on this path to becoming a regenerative company. And this idea that we place nature and humanity at the center of our business practices. And this idea of regeneration means restoring, renewing, and replenishing in addition to conserving. So it means adopting regenerative practices in agriculture, forests, and fisheries management, all whilst doing so in the right way and advancing prosperity and equity for all of our stakeholders. So that's our customers, our associates, and all the people who participate all the way through the product supply chains. And it also means eliminating waste along the product chain and decarbonizing our operations. So it's a very holistic approach and really looks at making trust a competitive advantage. And you can see here that, you know, these efforts aim to maximize value for all stakeholders by, first of all, creating economic opportunity for our associates and our suppliers, by advancing environmental and social sustainability within our business and then across supply chains and industries, by strengthening local communities, and then, of course, importantly, improving transparency and building trust and delivering value to our customers. So we try and take a very holistic approach to people and planet to solve business and societal needs by helping to drive system-wide change. We obviously lead through our business interventions, but we complement that with philanthropy and collaborating with others. And what does it mean? What does regeneration mean for sustainability specifically? It means things like prioritizing responsible sourcing. It means eliminating waste and emissions, restoring nature and advancing prosperity and equity for associates, customers, people across our supply chain. And we know that it's not only the right thing to do for society, it's good for business. It increases productivity, it reduces true costs, and will help secure future supply, which is obviously critical for our business, but more importantly for our customers. And so all of this comes together in a set of very ambitious goals that we've set. The goals that you see here, they're publicly, we've made these goals publicly, and we're very committed to delivering them. They're not very easy, I will say, but we are on the journey towards delivering them. So some of them I would call out: achieving zero emissions in our own operations without using carbon offsets by 2040. And, you know, we have over 11,000 operations around the world, so it's a pretty big, ambitious goal. Achieving 100% renewable energy by 2035, and we're over a third of the way towards that goal right now. Avoiding over 1 gigatons worth of emissions through our supply chain by 2030. And then we've got some important goals in nature that I'll come on and talk about, and other goals around getting to zero waste in our operations and supporting people in our supply chains. So, you know, these are important steps forward, but we know there's a lot more work to be done. And this includes the work that you're pioneering and our growing partnerships with farmers, suppliers, and others to build healthy, productive, resilient soils. So in our report this year, in our environmental and social report this year, we defined what regenerative agriculture means to Walmart and to the Walmart Foundation. And of course, it starts with soil health. Wayne, you already said it earlier, how critical it is. I know you're going to be talking about it a lot today. I know you know all this better than me, but regenerative agriculture is about the benefits agriculture can deliver for nature, for farmers, and for society through the scaled adoption of soil health practices. We know our natural systems are in deep crisis. We can no longer focus purely on practices in the farm and field and hope to solve the problems we face. So definitions include the need to protect and restore natural landscapes. And finally, regenerative agriculture is about people. As I mentioned earlier, our CEO, Doug McMillan, said our goal must be to restore the complex network of relationships between nature and humanity, that they're essential for people to thrive and achieve equity and prosperity. So through soil health, we can build more resilient and equitable, productive agricultural systems that mitigate climate change, enhance biodiversity, support farmer livelihood in the face of an increasingly volatile and uncertain future. And we're so thankful that the Soil Health Institute is researching the business case for this and demonstrating that across crops and management systems, farmers who invest in soil health can build stronger farm business. So the recent study that you see here on the slide of corn and soybean farmers using soil health management systems found that they increased their profits $45 to $50 an acre, And considering this year's elevated fertilizer prices and extreme drought in key growing regions, I think it's very notable that 83% reduced their applied fertilizer and 97% increased their crop resilience. So these are really good numbers, really encouraging, good for farmers, good for farming communities, good for supply chains, and ultimately good for the customer, everyone who needs a productive and resilient food system. So we're very excited to see those results. And, you know, our customers, we have 140 million customers walk through our doors every week or buy products from us online. They expect us to do the right thing. And they want to do their part too. They want to feel good about shopping with us. They want to feel good about the products that they buy. And so we want to ensure that we provide them with that trust and transparency. But of course, it has to be earned. These customers vote with their dollars and they're demanding increasing action on environmental and social issues. And I think it's up to all of us to listen and act. And we need a holistic approach to farm management and supply chain interventions. And this is the basis of Walmart and the Walmart Foundation's nature commitment. And that is to help to protect, restore, or more sustainably manage at least 50 million acres of land and 1 million square miles of ocean by 2030. So to meet this goal, we have to really lean into regenerative agriculture and the strategy that focuses on beef and row crops like wheat, corn, soy, cotton, rice, and produce. And as I'm sure you know, these commodities are foundational to the food and fiber products that our customers count on every day. So without action, some of these products may eventually become too expensive or even unavailable for our customers. And so Walmart and companies like us need to be part of the solution to uphold and continue access to the natural capital that we all need to thrive. So we want to be partners with farmers on this regenerative journey, building on our shared goals of profitable farms, stewardship for our natural resources, and a desire for the next generation to thrive. If we can scale and accelerate the adoption of these soil health management systems across critical production landscapes, we'll deliver on our promise to help customers to save money and live better, not only now, but also importantly in the future. And so how do we get there? At the Walmart and the Walmart Foundation, we're focused on 3 strategic pillars that you can see here that leverage the unique attributes of our business and also our philanthropic efforts to accelerate the adoption of soil health practices. And I'll just talk about each of these 3 briefly. So first of all, direct sourcing. I mean, as a retailer, we can directly influence the supply chain by working closely with suppliers who make our private brand products and using them to help farmers invest in soil health. So a good example of this, I think, is last year, Walmart initiated a place-based project in collaboration with Indigo Ag, and that was to source great value rice, which is one of our big, important private brand products. And Arkansas rice farmers actually enrolled in the project. They implemented on-farm practices that conserve land and water resources. And the anticipated outcomes of this are a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions and significant water conservation. And it's these kind of collaborative place-based projects that we can build the agricultural productivity and resilience that we need to deliver on our promises of value. So these projects help us learn, they help us innovate so that we can apply the lessons forward and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible. And then in addition to these direct sourcing projects, we leverage nature-friendly policies and certifications to demonstrate how customers how products were grown. So you can see an example here. There are tags on our private brand apparel, home textiles, and other categories here at Walmart that indicate that more sustainable cotton methods were utilized. And we've committed to sourcing 100% of our cotton volume for our Walmart US private brand apparel and home textiles as more sustainable by 2025. And that includes Cotton USA, Organic Cotton, Fair Trade USA, Better Cotton, and Recycled Cotton. And this sustainability commitment is complementary to our goal to support American manufacturing through a lighthouse strategy where we're working with cross-sector partners to solve some of these system-level challenges to growing US manufacturing and addressing barriers to reshoring with place-based approaches. And we're here with textiles. So that's the first piece around direct sourcing. And then, arguably our biggest lever for building soil health is working with our suppliers. We sell hundreds of thousands of products from thousands of different suppliers, and we really rely on them to partner with us and achieve our sustainability goals. And the great news is that they're really leaning in. I think everybody understands just how important this is. And so Project Gigaton is a project, it's a platform, it's a supplier engagement platform. It works across all of our sustainability priorities, including our climate goal to reduce or avoid a gigaton's worth of greenhouse gas emissions through the supply chain by 2030. And we have over 4,500 suppliers participating in that program. I'm happy to say we're over halfway to that goal. So we're making some good progress. But the really important thing here is, we partner with our suppliers and we provide them with tools and playbooks and programs and education to help them understand their own footprint and figure out what they can do on their path to sustainability. And it's helping them set meaningful goals and, most importantly, to take action. And we've been working on Project Gigaton since 2017. We've got some really good momentum. So we were really excited last year to launch a nature pillar within Project Gigaton. You can see the different pillars here on this slide, but the nature pillar encourages suppliers to set goals and to report progress on their efforts to protect and restore or more sustainably manage nature. So we're very excited about that. It's relatively new, but there's been some great participation already. And then we also released a new sustainable row crop position statement, which encourages our suppliers to join us in helping transition to a system that's less resource intensive and built on a foundation of healthy soil and long-term productivity. And it outlines many of the practices that, if adopted, can rebuild soil health and natural productivity. So we've got a long way to go. We by no means have all the answers, but we know we're not alone, and we're working with many of our suppliers and peers through different pre-competitive collaborations to drive innovation and progress. And one of these in the US is the Midwest Row Crop Collaborative, which Walmart is a founding member of, together with a group of leading companies, along with the Nature Conservancy, the World Wildlife Fund, and also the Environmental Defense Fund. And this group works together to accelerate sustainable practices across the agricultural landscape of the Midwest. And last year, the collaboration increased its ambitions, so joined together to set a goal of 30 million acres in the Midwest by 2030 that have practices resulting in improved environmental, social, and economic outcomes, including net on-farm greenhouse gas emissions by 7 million metric tons. So we're very excited about that one. And then finally, the third pillar is around capacity building and investment. And the goal of these activities is systemic change, activating solutions that help the supply chain function in a regenerative manner by changing the drivers of behavior. And we all know we have to learn new things along the way. And this is a great example of that. So the Walmart Foundation invests in priority levers for this change across 3 different categories for regenerative agriculture. So firstly, demonstrating the benefits of regenerative agriculture to a wider audience of farmers and ranchers. Secondly, harnessing new data and technology to foster decision-making and to clarify the impact of planned practice changes. And then thirdly, building peer-to-peer and professional networks that will support farmers in their journey towards soil health. So Walmart and the Walmart Foundation are also investing in place-based initiatives. And these new management approaches create shared value for producers and suppliers and communities across a specific landscape or seascape through activities that restore and rebuild the natural resources that communities depend on and that produces the goods that our customers rely on. So very excited about that too. We think there's a ton of potential. And a couple of examples here. So in 2020, the Walmart Foundation made a $1.6 million grant to the World Wildlife Fund, and we were joined by other funders, Cargill and McDonald's, to protect and improve the sustainable grazing management of over 1 million acres in the Northern Great Plains here in the US, to protect grassland from conversion and to improve the ability to sequester soil carbon. And WWF has already reported that over 150,000 acres have enrolled in the program. And they're working with multiple Native American tribes and ranchers to ensure equitable access to the incentives and training opportunities provided by this project. So some really good momentum there. And then the Walmart Foundation is also expanding their investments, building the capacity for change across critical geographies in the United States. So this January, the Walmart Foundation made a $1.4 million grant to the Nature Conservancy to establish a place-based initiative in the Southern High Plains. And then in June of this year, the Walmart Foundation made a $1.6 million grant to the Sustainable Food Lab to work and provide continuing education for crop advisors in North Dakota and also Western Minnesota on soil health management systems. The Sustainable Food Lab will work with those crop advisors and also companies including General Mills and King Arthur Baking to help farmers implement soil health practices on hundreds of thousands of crop acres in a landscape responsible for the majority of the hard red spring wheat, durum wheat, and sugar beets grown in the US. And these investments do more than just support the adoption of soil health practices. They invest in the human capacity of the landscape by equipping key stakeholders with the knowledge, the data, and the tools that they need to help farmers and ranchers increase their profitability through soil health. And today, this is the best part of my talk today. I'm pleased to announce a major grant by the Walmart Foundation in the effort to scale regenerative agricultural systems in the United States. So as I'm sure many of you know, the US Regenerative Cotton Fund, that's managed by the Soil Health Institute, is an ambitious project to dramatically expand the adoption of soil health practices across major cotton landscapes in the US. So starting with a donation from the Ralph Lauren Corporate Foundation, this project intends to increase the current rate of adoption among cotton farmers of soil health practices from 8 to 15% for cover crops and from 21 to 30% for no-till by 2026. So real short-term opportunity for expansion. The fund also intends to sequester an estimated 1 million metric tons of carbon dioxide equivalent and increase soil health practices on over 1 million acres of cotton cropland. So it's a great opportunity to dramatically shift production landscapes at scales. So that's why I'm really pleased to announce, you can see on the screen, that the Walmart Foundation has made a $2 million grant to the Soil Health Institute. This will provide the funding needed to enhance the program's effort in Texas, Georgia, Mississippi, and Arkansas, and then to expand the initiative into Alabama and South Carolina. So we're very excited about that and really appreciate the partnership. So just in wrapping up, we all know our world is changing. It's a moment to take action and to really keep going as hard and as fast as we can. This is the decade that matters the most for climate action. We don't have time to wait. We don't have time to wait for our successors to take this on. We have to do it. And nature is inextricably tied to it. So Walmart's taking a holistic approach to try and bring about system-wide change, but we know that no one company or sector or individual can do it alone. It's going to take all of us individually and collectively to take courageous action now to create a regenerative future that is more sustainable, healthier, cleaner, and more inclusive and equitable. So we're honored to be on this journey with all of you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you today. And thank you, Wayne. Back to you.